New Year, everybody!
Happy 2020! Welcome to...
It's 2019, the sequel.
No, the tweet. Welcome to episode 69 of SDGC for Thursday, January 2nd, 2020.
Wow.
2019 too. I said I was... You told me. If you're not aware, Super Informed Gamescast meets right here every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we discuss the latest gaming headlines with a wide variety of panel members and guests. We also do a whole bunch of other stuff as time allows, like a separate show about movies and television, pre-recorded content, and a bi-weekly morning show every other Friday when we remember to do it. If you've been along for the ride so far, welcome home. And if not, hey, feel free to stick around and maybe throw us a subscription. Every single podcast is archived the next day on our YouTube channel for those who like to watch, and you can find us on all major podcast services for those who like to listen.
How's everybody's New Year been so far?
Welcome to the new year.
New Year, same us.
It's actually episode 173. Somebody suggested, one of you, I wasn't even listening.
No, it was just you, Reb.
No, one of you said 69. I didn't make that up. I don't think of those things.
Not me.
That's not
Reb,
true.
that was just you.
It was.
No, I asked what the next episode, what the episode
I
number
said
was.
173.
One
I
of you
won't
said
gaslight.
69.
It was me.
Oh.
Thank you.
It was me. I'll own up. I won't gaslight you in this new year.
Thank you, Zach. It's
Not in
your
this
New
New
Year's
Resolution?
It's your New Year's Resident Evil, not to gaslight Red.
Yep.
I can't talk tonight. I don't know why I volunteered to read that intro.
I thought you did great. I really
Thank
did.
you.
It's my New Year's
Yeah,
resolution
that
to quit doing this, to quit shaving, because...
Oh, I thought you meant quit the podcast.
No. It's my New Year's resolution to build up the courage to tell y'all I'm fucking done.
Quit live, just immediately. Oh, by the way, guys, I'm done with all this, and then just pull the plug.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. Hi, everybody in chat.
Yeah.
Welcome. I hope
So
you have
weird,
entered into
everybody.
the new year with vigor.
So
That's
I
a
have,
word for it.
I have a couple of promises on behalf of SDGC for this new year.
Oh boy.
yes.
Oh no. We
So-
didn't discuss these. I'm
no,
excited.
we have discussed these before, just
Oh.
not on stream.
Okay.
We are going to change the services that we use for our calls to get you guys a better and more consistent and more stable video and audio quality experience to make this live show just a little bit less tech issue-y. We still got to run some tests on a couple different
AOL,
different
right?
platforms.
We're going to AOL.
Yeah, definitely AOL. Steve Spawn from Able Gamers thankfully has given us a couple of avenues to check out, so we're going to do that. But we're going to definitely improve our stability because using Discord has obviously been a little iffy, and it's time for some changes, right? We updated our graphics, and it's time for that.
Next Gen
Strings, good
podcast,
idea.
baby.
Next Gen podcast, right? For a next gen year.
Yeah.
Well,
Ray
also,
tracing.
yeah.
We're all
Well,
gonna go stand
I'm
in our
already
yards and yell.
I'm getting ray traced right now. Look at this new camera and everything. Like,
We're all gonna go stand in our front yards and yell really loud.
ah!
Welcome to SDGC!
Cans with strings.
Kansas strings.
I
That's really good.
So the cool thing is that while we might be upgrading our tech, we will still be as unprofessional as usual.
right. We're not
Yeah,
going to stop
so that's
being
cool.
us.
Yeah.
I also think that our coverage at PAX is going to be better this year. I know we all have plans for PAX East. I don't know if West is in the cards. We're working that out. But with new and better gear for interviews and new and better gear for like good photography on site, we're going to get you guys more pictures, more videos, more good shit in a hopefully timelier manner.
Yeah, who else gonna be at East? We should say.
Right now, I
would-
think the plan, Zach is out, but me, Justin, John, I think Maddie and his girlfriend will be there.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Finn will be there.
Yes, and I am like about 95% sure I'm gonna be there.
Yeah.
It hasn't
I'm so
been
sad
made.
I'm gonna miss it.
No, we'll find a way, Zach.
One day.
Find a way.
One day.
It'll be beautiful.
Yeah. But yeah, that's that, and I think we can all kind of commit. This is a not talked about thing, but I'm gonna throw us under the bus a little bit. We can commit to a little bit more like pre-recorded stuff. I think we enjoy doing these like review discussions and the like, and we haven't really been able to organize to get many of them done, especially over the last 6 months. So like, let's kick it. Bam. I don't know why that's not a kick. That's a punch. But
you can tell that we had an extremely in-depth discussion about what we were going to announce for 2020.
And I'm not just yelling shit right now. So
really
you're
cool.
doing good.
It's really cool. The energy in this podcast right now is that we're all hungover and none of us are, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
I was real hungover yesterday. Yeah. That's why I'm not drinking tonight, because I need to. I need to drink. I need to get. You know what? And actually, I preach the hydration. I preach the hydration gospel on a regular basis. And let me tell you, on the morning of New Year's Eve, I woke up and I got this nice bottle of water. I don't know how much water is in it. Probably like a normal amount of water for a water bottle, maybe like 12 ounces or something. And I drank 6 of these fuckers, 6 of these throughout the day.
That's a lot. That's a good number.
And I still
That's half a dozen.
A hangover. I still got a hangover.
It's less than half a baker's dozen.
It was a bad hangover.
Hey, can I ask you guys a question?
Sure.
Should we talk about video games?
We should talk about some video games.
No, this is a hydration podcast.
I mean, to be real, if we're being real,
this is the hydration podcast starring Kyle Gatto somehow.
We only have like 3 topics for tonight.
Okay. Well then Reb, between bouts of you running to the bathroom as you're trying to vigorously stay hydrated, what video games have you been playing lately?
I have played. So it was Christmas holiday break. I finished Control, which I really, really enjoyed. I've talked about Control multiple times. I talked about it on the morning show because I had just finished the Ashtray Maze and how fucking cool it was, and how it also was not what I thought it was going to be. Like, I don't want to spoil it because I know some people probably have not played Control, but I will say I thought it was going to be like a really cleverly done puzzle, and that's not what it was. And I'm entirely okay that that's not what it was. And also, I had just talented into the ability to psychically throw giant objects like right before, like at the save point right outside of there, and that ended up making it way cooler. So, Control was very good. I have played about 50 plus hours of Stardew Valley over this break for some reason. I don't know. It's great. I still love that game. And I have been playing Divinity Original Sin 2. I've been playing that with Imran, actually, and it is fantastic co-op nonsense. Like, it's great. It is like playing D&D in a video game. It is the closest. I mean, I haven't played a lot of D&D, but it seems like really, really close to the experience of playing D&D, and it's great. Like, the writing is really good. There are just so many weird things you can find and interact with. I have had a fantastic time accidentally being super horny in that game.
Nice. Love to do it.
As you do.
Well, I didn't like. Okay, I'm playing as Lose. And she's this bard I'm playing an enchantress. She's like,
if you're playing a bard, your character is always horny.
Well, but I didn't walk into this. So, I mean, you know me. I was raised a good little Catholic girl, and I'm not really anymore. But I still have some of those tendencies. Like, I don't play games in a chaotic fashion. I like being a nice little hero and doing the right thing and the nice thing all the time. And I'm playing Lose, and she's got like a fucking demon in her head. So right from the get-go, I'm having these encounters where like suddenly the demon takes over, and I just get real murdery for about 10 minutes. And that
as you do.
As one does. And that's like not how I play the game anyway. So I've sort of been playing, like, just sort of letting things happen and trying things just to sort of, I'm generally trying to be good, but I'm also like trying to have experiences. So I walk into this tavern, and this guy like starts trying to like sell me a night with like the best lover in the world, and it's only like 100 gold, and 100 gold in this world is not all that much. I mean, it's like a lot for an inn stay, but for an experience, like, that's not a lot. So I paid a man, and he's very gracious, and he asks me if I would prefer a male lover or a female lover,
as
or if
a
I would
good
like him
provider would
to surprise me. And I ask him to surprise me, and it ends up being a male lizard. A lizard paramour, because lizards are a race in this game. They're like these giant fucking like 7 foot tall
like lizard folk, yeah.
They're amazing. So my character spends the night with a lizard, and it is, first of all, the situation opens with like some very erotic role play, and I just go right in for it. And then we take off our clothes, we go to bed together. It fades out, fades back in. All my shit's been stolen by this guy's accomplices.
Wow!
So literally all of my shit. Like, we have spent 12, 13 some hours playing this game. I've got all my equipment, my weapons, all my money, all my scrolls, all like literally a bunch of keys and pieces of paper that I needed for shit, like just gone. Fucking gone.
Classic swindler's trick.
And they don't, like, there's no, I can't fight them because my companions were not allowed to enter the room with me. I tried to fight them because I'm a magician, so I figure I could just, who needs armor anyway? No, they kick the shit out of me. I have to flee. They give me like the name of a dude and I have to like go track this dude down, and it takes us like several hours to get all my shit back. And in the process of getting all my shit back, I find like a pair of pants and a wardrobe. So I'm just running around in like my bra and a pair of pants this whole time. And while I am still only in a bra and pair of pants, another woman like tries to entice me. And she's like, in exchange for a kiss, I'll give you your deepest desire. And I'm like, what the fuck is my deepest desire? And I'm like, I think it's to get this demon out of my head. And she's like, okay, I can't do that. What's your second deepest desire? And I'm like, I want to be smarter. And so I go in, I meet her in like a fucking back
Step one, don't sleep
corner.
with the lizard.
I meet her like in a fucking back corner of a dungeon, and it's like puddles on the floor. There's a cage with like a skeleton in it. There's like rats running around. This is not a savory place. And she's like this beautiful, like a human or elf woman. I didn't like really register, but just this beautiful, beautiful woman. And she comes back there and she leans in for the kiss, and she turns into a giant fucking spider. And my options are
as you do
yell that she has deceived me and start fighting her, or to just kiss her anyway. So I do what any respectable person does in this situation, and I kiss the fucking spider.
Right.
Yeah. And she rewards me with the gift of knowledge.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I get points to my
I'd kiss
stat.
a spider for the gift of knowledge.
Yeah. So in short, Divinity Original Sin 2 is great. My one complaint is, someone mentioned it in the chat, I tweeted about it this morning. I have a thread if you want to like actually go read that. But basically, it is very much like D&D, but the one thing it suffers from, I think, is not having a flexible DM running the whole game, like actively while you're playing it. I don't like it when games handhold you through quests, obviously, but I also don't like it when they like when they say, okay, here's a chest, you can't open it, it needs a password. And I'm like, okay, so is there some like indication on this chest anywhere of like what I might be able to do to find this password? Nope, fucking nothing. Just no hint whatsoever, nothing, no waypoints, no NPCs. Like an NPC is standing nearby, but they're not helpful. Like just no indication whatsoever. And in D&D, there's like a DM where if the party is like, if we're all looking at each other like, okay, I don't fucking know what this is, and they just have no idea, usually the DM is flexible enough to be able to give them like a teeny little bit of a hint, or to kind of embed that information somewhere in the world around them where they can find it if they're, using, hi Zeke, if they're using their resources. Divinity doesn't have that, and so it ends up landing on one of two extremes. Either it's a character going, hey, I need you to do this, and then a fucking flag lands on your map, and you're like, okay, I guess it's over there. That's where we're going, even though we probably like could have found it if they just said, oh, it's towards the west near the mountain, and then we would have had like a little adventure. Or it's a hint, there's something you need, but they just don't tell you fucking anything. And I don't like that. I wish there was a little bit of nuance in how it let me solve puzzles, because the world is so dense. Like, it's so full of so much shit, and there are so many ways to tackle these problems. But as someone who's not used to its world, I wish that there was just like with the chest I was talking about earlier, I wish there had been like some clue lying nearby that would have been like, oh, I hear this, there's this one character who might be able to help you, or this person might be able to, or, if you could find this person, they might be able to help you solve the mystery. And then I would just be on the lookout. Like, I would be looking for somebody like that. And so then, oh my God, Zeke. And so the next time I found them, I'd be like, oh, that's the guy I need to find. I got it. So
right, like what you're describing to me, I've only played a little bit of Original Sin 2, but like what you're describing to me almost feels like, I mean, this game, from the little bit I play, like the writing is extremely strong, and it's like, it's so far above other games in its genre that like you can almost feel it's I mean, what you're describing is like, it's really, really, really good for a video game, but I kind of just wish there was a person with the flexibility, which I guess
know,
is,
right?
like, kind
That's
of
like
high
barely
praise.
a complaint. It's
Yeah,
barely
it's
a
like,
complaint.
Right. Like, yeah, it'd be great if actually the writers just sat in my living room while I played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
And I
sounds.
have the
that sounds
internet.
That's
I
what
have the
D&D
internet.
is.
true. Okay, so before we toss to somebody else for what they've been playing, Reb, I gotta know, did you get your shit back?
Oh, I got my shit back.
Good.
Oh,
And
Good.
I will actually
right.
conclude this tale. Sorry for spoiling Divinity, but it's like over a year old. It turns out I did get a clue for that one. The clue was this guy named Lohar, and I was able to ask around and find out where he is, and I found him. But again, the game just kind of like walked me. Like if I'd been playing real D&D, I would have stormed into the fucking room and I'd been like, "Give me my shit back, you bitch dick," and like he would have given me my shit back. Well, he wouldn't have. We would have had a fight, and that would have been it. That would have been how I wanted to play the situation. But like, I can't like. Sorry, I was combining two random mean words there. Maybe that didn't come across well.
No, it worked perfectly.
Sorry.
No, it was
fine.
That was basically how I play D&D.
Okay. You can't theoretically like walk in any room and just start killing
I just
people,
wasn't
but
ready for it, is all.
What I wanted was like an angry confrontation. I wanted to yell at this guy, but I walked in and he is like having somebody else beaten up in front of me, and so I'm immediately like, wait, hold on, do we need to help them? What's happening? And then he starts asking me to do him favors. And I'm like, I don't want to do you favors, but that's where the dialogue tree is going. And my only options are to either say yes or no to what he's asking. And what I really want to do is like, okay, I will help you. Can I have my shit back so I can help you better? Because right now I'm literally wearing a bra and some shitty leather pants. I don't think I can go like confront these people for you with a bra and shitty leather pants and literally nothing else.
The chafing alone.
I
Yeah.
know. I'm not Henry Cavill, but anyway.
Yeah.
So, but it turned out that by helping him after we had helped him once, we came back and I was like, "Hey, give me my shit back." And he was, "Sure, it's right there. Go ahead." So it's sort of disappointing in that regard.
But otherwise,
But again, my worst complaint
Literally,
is that this is the writers are not sitting in my living room helping.
nothing about this story was disappointing, I promise you.
It's great.
Hey,
Divinity is
Derek-
great, guys, and it's great. It's an amazing co-op game. Like if you're looking for a game to play with someone else online, locally, whatever, great. Actually, I don't know if it does local, but whatever. Get another system.
I had no idea it had co-op.
Oh, it's great. It's really, really good. I suspect that Imran and I are going to be like prompted to kill one another by the end of the game. So that'll be great.
I didn't know it was co-op either, but I guess I always feel like that's something that would be limited. Like I don't know, like I'm so curious. I guess this isn't a question for right now for good podcasting, but I'm so curious how like dialogue prompts work in a co-op experience. But like that's fascinating to me.
It's both like at first I was frustrated by it, but then I realized that this is exactly how D&D.
Right.
So it's just whoever starts the dialogue gets the dialogue, and if you're in range, you can click on it and you can listen in on the conversation, but they're in control of it. So you get all the information. If you're not in range, you don't get the information, but it still shows up in your quest log and you can talk and exchange information.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah, I think it is too. Like again, at first it annoyed me because like he's picking up all these quests and I don't know anything about them, and I open up my quest log and start reading them, and then I realize no, this is how fucking D&D works, because when the cleric went to the chapel and picked up like some quest from the guy in there, I didn't know what any of that was about.
Yeah.
He had to come back and tell me about it, and that both makes me want to cooperate more, but also has this kind of freedom to it where we're in a big town with all this shit going on. We're just like, okay, you go talk to people, I'll go talk to people, we'll meet in the middle, we'll figure out what's important.
Oh.
Right.
It's a good game, guys.
I'm expecting. Listen, I don't know how. I think this is a pretty meaty game. I'm expecting follow-ups in subsequent weeks. Can we count on that?
Absolutely.
Hell
And
yeah.
listen, guys, you can be a lizard, worship a lizard, follow a lizard, or fuck a lizard.
I was gonna say, and
Yeah.
apparently fucking bang a
Fuck
lizard.
a lizard.
Derek,
Why not?
I hear you've been hanging out with our friends at Treyarch.
Oh, I
Wrap
have.
Up.
So here's the deal. I've been continuing the usual games, my stream games, Pokemon. I started The Witcher 2 because here's the thing. I've played the original Witcher and beaten it. I never played Witcher 2 or 3. I'm a weird human being. The only Witcher game I played is the one nobody played. But me and Martha watched the show, so I decided to install Witcher 2 and give it a shot, and I'm enjoying it so far. But the big thing is, in my ongoing marathon of the Call of Duty series campaigns, I think I told you all on stream, Advanced Warfare was good. Advanced Warfare was just good. Kevin Spacey being present is a little awkward, but that's life. I think it was before
You mean
we
Hatsune
knew.
Miku?
It was before, yeah, right. Well, we didn't know about Kevin Spacey at the time, I don't think. So I don't blame Sledgehammer for his involvement. But it was a good game. I enjoyed it. Mission design was good. The story made sense. Characters were half decent for a Call of Duty. Traversal mechanics and the speed of the game was good. Overall, Advanced Warfare, my favorite Call of Duty so far. But then I hit Black Ops 3. And folks, I can't think of a game that came out in the last 10 years, a game that did not suffer from lack of money or time, okay? That is as much of a fucking problem as Black Ops 3. This fucking game. So it's amazing because Black Ops 3 does seem to pretend that there are 2 games worth of shit that came before it that you need to know, but those games aren't Black Ops 1 and 2. Like, what the fuck? The main character is named Player, for Christ's sake. That's not acceptable.
That's quite like, okay, hold on. They're not just like Player's not just something that shows up in your save file. Like people go,
no,
hey, Player.
Nobody ever refers to him by name, but when the subtitles pop up, it says Player when your character is talking. And that's not good.
No.
I cannot find an option.
No.
I never had an option to like put in a character name either.
It would literally be better if it had brackets that said you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have. It would have been so much better. It is fucking nonsense. It is an affront. I think they made this game up as they went, which is not even how games work. Because characters are changing. I know I'm talking about fucking characters in a Call of Duty game, but bear with me here. Characters are changing personalities mission to mission. Your character and like your main buddy character, fucking Hendrix, I think his name is, one of you will be like loyal to the CIA and the other one will be questioning shit. And then it will switch to the other way around, where the other guy is now the super loyal person and you're the one questioning shit. And it just forgets which character is supposed to be in that role of being the guy who refuses to accept. It's so stupidly edgy. I don't have a problem with edge. I read Berserk and I fucking loved it. But there's like a 2-minute sequence in first person view and very early in the game where a robot just starts ripping your limbs off one by one and like breaking your legs in ways, and I'm just like,
fuck yeah.
I'm just sitting here as I get brutally dismembered for like 2 solid minutes, and not even the Saw movies are that obsessed with this dumb shit. There's a bit where you run into an enemy that you've been dealing with for a good third of the game so far, and in a cutscene you deal with her in about 20 seconds by holding her head up to some fire and her head begins to melt, which I feel like is an unnecessary amount of violence against just a random woman who's mad you killed her fucking brother, which you did. I don't know why we did it, because there's no explanation for a single goddamn thing we've been doing.
About this?
There should have fucking been.
No, I think people.
We didn't do a lot of thinking.
This game didn't get as much shit as it deserved. It's like one of the like it is an affront to storytelling, and like it plays bad too. Like Call of Duty, at least like. No, seriously, they hid the real story. I don't want to spoil it for Derek.
Yeah, because I'm gonna hit this shit. And you will hear my screams of frustration from around the goddamn world.
Yeah. No, seriously. Like, this game, like, fails on every single level that the series usually does okay with, on top of also being even worse.
This
like,
is insulting.
Writing-wise, and...
it's an insulting fucking game, and that says a lot when Black Ops 2 ended with a random Avenged Sevenfold concert starring the villain and one of the hero characters.
It seems so. This was what year?
2015.
2015, Imran says.
So it's only 4 years later, and now isn't Call of Duty trying to pretend it's a very serious war game?
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, Modern Warfare
Black Ops. Sorry, go ahead, Derek.
I was gonna say it sounds like Modern Warfare was dumb in a lot of the ways that Black Ops has been dumb the entire time it's been around. My experience has been Infinity Ward games have been generally okay. The Treyarch games are dumb, edgy, literally everything I think to make fun of when I make fun of Call of Duty. And the one Sledgehammer game so far, Advanced Warfare, was really good, which makes me really excited for World War II, right? Because that's the next Sledgehammer one. And
it was pretty good.
I think they're the hidden stars of this. Also, Sam points out Black Ops 3 is the first Black Ops game to be made on the 3-year cycle instead of the 2-year cycle.
No,
so
I think Advanced. Well,
no, the first Black Ops game. That
Oh,
was.
the first Black
Yeah,
Ops one.
so that
yeah,
means
okay.
Treyarch had a whole 50% extra fucking time to work this shit out, and they just all over a plate and said, "Here you fucking go." Oh
No, it's,
my god.
like, seriously,
I'm glad
I
Black
think-
Ops 4 didn't have a campaign because it means I don't have to fucking experience it.
like, seriously, I'm not playing it right now, but I played it when it came out. And like, I seriously think it's the worst thing I've played this generation. And I generally like Call of Duty campaigns.
Any other game I've played that has given me such a visceral reaction, I could at least temper with the excuse that the team did not have the time or money to really do what they wanted, because nobody sets out to make a bad game, right? And there are tons and tons of barriers. It's amazing any game ever gets released, to be real with you. But Black Ops 3 had all the money in the world and a longer development cycle than normal, and I got this shit.
Hey, Derek, can I give you a quick curveball?
Yeah, hit me.
Black Ops 4 actually has these little mini...
Don't fucking do this to me.
Yeah, no, yeah, buddy. So they have these like little mini challenges things, and they have narrative. They have cutscenes in between, so you are gonna have to play them. They do have some of the characters from Black Ops 3 in them. There's, I wish I remember the exact line, but I think there's a line from Mason in Black Ops 4 that reserves to hot chopped salad. I don't remember the exact line. It's bizarre. You need to play it. It's got story, so I think you have to play Black Ops 4 now. I don't make the rules. I just remind you of them.
Also,
Well,
hey, Derek, here's one more little piece of information that you should know about Black Ops 3. It's by far the longest of ever any Call of Duty campaign.
No. So hang on.
The silver lining,
Stop.
I guess, is that it doesn't get worse. than
No,
this. Like,
hang on.
It's true.
So
No, actually, he has Infinite Warfare next, which is actually one of my favorites.
just
and I
shot-
think he'll like it a lot.
Justin,
Oh, I thought you said actually. I thought you were about to tell it.
Oh no,
And I'm like, what could
he
possibly be worse about it?
he has something to look forward to at the end of this.
Justin,
That's good.
I just shot a bunch of dire wolves in World War II, and I hate to break it to Treyarch, but dire wolves aren't. That's not a term for big
For
wolf.
just big.
Yeah, that's a specific fantasy thing for like Dungeons and Dragons. I think made up dire animals.
They're gonna have like unicorns, and they're just gonna be like large white
yeah,
horses.
I don't
Derek,
think they understand.
Derek, it gets dumber. I'm not kidding.
How
It
much
gets
more?
dumber.
How far in am I if I fought
You're
dire
like
wolves
halfway.
in a world? No! I thought I was
Hey,
like
well-
80% of the way through this shit.
It's like 15 hours long.
Oh no!
Why did they
It's
use
like-
all this
it's like
time
more
to
than
make
twice
it
as
last
long as
more
a typical-
time?
While
As
Derek
a typical campaign.
while Derek grapples with his own mortality, Justin, what have you been playing?
Well, I have been playing Call of Duty myself. I've been playing Modern Warfare.
A
I
better
played
one,
it-
thank God.
I played it with Zach the other day.
Yeah.
Because it actually has a very good implementation of crossplay, which is very nice.
Yeah. It's cool.
I've been doing Ring Fit, which still I've done it multiple times, and I'm still taken aback at how much that thing kicks my ass. You should check it out. It's a really, really fun, good workout.
Has
And,
it? Have you been using it as like a regular like scheduled thing, like you do every X days or whatever?
I've been trying
Sorry,
to,
not to
but
interrogate you about your workout. I'm curious as to how it feels when you do that.
I've been trying to, but like with holiday,
Yeah, December 5th.
family stuff,
Yeah.
and I've been sick the past couple days, so I haven't been able to do as regularly as possible. I'm gonna try to get into a more
Let me
regular
know when you
rhythm
do.
of it.
I definitely want to hear about how it holds.
And also I started Assassin's Creed Odyssey the other day. There's a really, really deep discount on PSN right now that I think goes for a couple more days. It was the $100 edition of the game for $25, which includes all the DLC, the remasters of 3 and Liberation. And so I figured I'd check it out. I played Origins, which is a game I really liked, and I played for 50 hours and was not near the end and then just kind of stopped. And everybody was telling me Odyssey was is even longer, which kind of scared me off, but I have time right now and it was a good deal, so I wanted to check it out.
Are you playing as sorry, not Bayek, that's Origins. Are you playing as Cassandra?
Yes. I
Good
swear
man.
I've never seen I haven't heard anybody give impressions of Alexios. I've never seen anybody post a screenshot of playing as Alexios.
Nope.
Like you're able to. I don't know anybody who has done it.
You're able to, but have you seen Cassandra's forearms, Justin?
I mean,
I have.
not.
have you listened to her voice?
I might or might not
Yeah.
want her to choke me. I don't know.
Yeah. God.
I'm not
It's a
into
good
that,
game.
but the right person,
But
the right forearms.
I'm enjoying it so far. I do like how I do like the added like dialogue options and stuff that they have in this one. It allows for a bit more personality and stuff, which is something I feel like the Assassin's Creed games have kind of lacked in the past.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm really enjoying it so far.
I felt like that game had like somewhere between Origins and Odyssey is like my perfect game. Like I liked the open-ended dialogue and relationship stuff that was in Odyssey, but I felt like Bayek was maybe a more like sympathetic character to me.
Bayek is a
I thought
motherfucker.
Bayek was really cool. I think Bayek is probably one of the strongest characters.
Yeah.
In any UB game in a while.
Yeah,
They
he's
haven't
like,
been
what
great
if
on
cops weren't garbage? Is
Yeah.
basically Bayek's character.
Dude just has a wife and wants justice. Like, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally a community. Yeah.
I thought he was also just a very cool character design, and I liked the Egypt setting a lot too.
Yeah.
Sorry, have to throw this in here. We are definitely beating up all the magic cops in Division 2. No magic cops.
No magic.
Thank you.
Yeah! I don't
No
know.
cops.
We don't tolerate it.
Fuck yeah, that's where I'm at. I don't know.
I think I'm gonna just keep it brief with what I've been playing. I played a little bit of Modern Warfare. I've been trying to get back into it because I spent money on it at launch, then haven't really touched it. I bought Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair on Xbox last week. It was free on Epic Games Store the other day, which is just a really sweet ass way to start the year.
It's like one of the best platformers maybe ever made, and it
Yeah,
was just fucking
it's
casually free.
Yeah, it's like relatively new. Otherwise, I'm playing Insurgency Sandstorm. I really like that game a lot.
Can,
It's just like
can you actually back up to Yooka-Laylee? Did
Yeah.
you like it?
Impossible Lair is very good. It is like Donkey Kong
Really?
Country. The original
I
Yooka-Laylee was
tried.
not good.
I tried.
Yeah, the original
Impossible
game's-
Lair. No, I didn't like the original either, but I tried Impossible Lair, and
And you didn't like it? Didn't
I
resonate?
bounced real hard off of it. And I love Tropical Freeze, which everyone told me I would love this.
I don't like Tropical Freeze, but I like Impossible Lair.
Your tastes are valid, Reb. It's okay.
Yeah.
What do you
we all
like about
different
it?
things.
What do you like about it?
I liked. I played a lot of Donkey Kong Country, like a lot on my brother's Game Boy SP. And for some reason, a lot of this feels like super resonant, and I don't know. I mean, it's like if I hadn't played that as a kid, and like there wasn't like a little special part of me that liked that, I don't know if I would like it as much. But like part of me is like, oh, this is fun. Like it just, I don't know. It feels like a reskin of something I liked a long time ago.
Okay, that's fair. Sorry to stop you and make you back up.
No,
like
it's
it.
good. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's like this is maybe a spicy take. It's like the Spyro or Crash Bandicoot things. Like 2019 standards are not good, but they're good for like what they're trying to reignite.
fair.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah.
Impossible Lair looks a lot better to me than the first one did.
Well, it's actually scoped down in my opinion.
That probably
but
helps.
also.
But like even the art style and everything looks a whole lot more cohesive and well executed.
Yeah, I think that's true, and like I think they actually have like a smart take on the kind of hub world that you kind of navigate. It actually kind of reminds me of Super Mario 3D World on the Wii U.
Mhm.
Yeah,
in that
yeah.
regard. Yeah, it's cool. I only played a couple levels of it before I went on vacation. Otherwise, I played Mario Party on the Switch. That game does not have enough game boards, and I
No.
actually think it's easier than it used to be. But it's very cute, and I like it.
It's a
And
ton of
that's-
fun, and you can fuck over friends and destroy friendships, and it's all that I need.
Yeah, I played it over the holiday with family, and they were not good sports, and it kind of soured me on
Oh
it.
no, that's no fun.
Yeah, It's weird. It's also strange. That game has 4 game boards. Nintendo kind of
It
dropped the
needed
ball on that
it
one.
needed
huh?
a couple more for sure. It needed like 2
yeah.
more.
This is the one that doesn't have online play, right?
Well, wait, it has online play, but it's only select few
Mini games.
Mini
specifically.
games.
they-
You
they
can't
take
play
them.
Mario Party online.
Right.
Right. Yeah, it's a weird one.
Yeah.
I understand why, because like the spirit of Mario Party is being in a room together, but also why not just give people the option?
Yeah.
I hear you, but I feel like people would like to watch us play Mario. Like I feel like people would like it.
That's
Yeah.
true. People would
Stream it.
love to watch
That's
us play
true,
Mario
streamers,
Party.
but Nintendo doesn't care about streamers.
Super Mario Party
they
2
don't-
needs to be more and better and online, and then we can have Mario Party nights with SDGC. How
I
great would
wish-
that be?
I wish Nintendo would give us like. So I love the original, like the first 3 Mario parties, and
Yeah.
the ones where you like had to burn a hole,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
joystick or whatever. And I think like the thing that I loved about them was they were very simple. Like they got really complex with like the weird gimmicks and stuff they threw on the different boards. I just want the whole thing where it's like get 20 coins, get a star, most stars wins, most coins wins after that, and then a shit ton of cool mini games. And they've been doing better on the cool mini games front, especially now that they have like the Joy-Cons and the cool motion control shit and the vibration and all the other things they can do. But I would really like to have like a much simpler Mario Party, but with like a lot of boards, a lot of mini games,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
a lot of characters.
Well, and I guess the one thing, Justin, go ahead. Sorry, and then I'll
Sorry, I just had an idea for a game that needs to exist.
okay.
Wario Party, where it's like WarioWare mini games, but like on a
Hell.
Mario Party board.
Yeah, and it's just like Wario jumping in and like messing with you
Yeah.
sometimes, like
Give it to
Bowser
me.
time in the
Yeah.
older games. He just jumps in and is
Mhm.
like, "No, I'm just gonna like turn the board upside down and you're all dead."
I want
Like I love
Wait, that's dark.
WarioWare so much.
Sorry.
I need more WarioWare.
give me.
So I guess I just have 2 things. One is like I think there's like maybe 1 or 2, like there's 4 boards total in the game, which again way too few. But also there's only like 1 or 2 that feel really really like throwbacky in terms of like, hey, this is a pretty simple board and you generally go in a square. But the other thing is
Surprise!
It's Dad.
looks like John is trying to call in. But the other thing I would say is that this Super Mario Party kind of brings up the most common criticism that I have of a lot of Nintendo games this gen, which is just that I find that forced motion controls are a really inaccessible way for people to play. And I'm kind of like it's like they have extremely simple controls. But I just feel like I wanted to play it on the airplane, and I'm not gonna go like this on an airplane. Mario Party. So
I
it's just not
feel-
happening.
That's
I
because
feel
you're
like-
a coward.
Apparently.
I feel like the Wii era kind of like distorted Nintendo's view of what accessibility is, because like when the Wii came out there were so many stories about like elderly people that hadn't been able to play games before
Yeah.
playing like Wii Sports and stuff. And so I think Nintendo seems to believe that putting in motion controls is accessibility when it's
no,
not.
you need both.
Yeah.
Both
Yeah,
things.
and that's kind of the the thing, and it's one of those lessons that's going to take Nintendo way too long.
Motion
to
controls is
figure
literally
out.
reverse accessibility, honestly.
And
I
you
mean,
guys are so right, because like 95% of Super Mario Party is actually extremely accessible. It's like one button prompt and like occasionally a directional thing, and it's like mostly at your own pace. Like it's press A to do this thing. I mean, but then there's a couple mini games you have to like spam the A button, and then obviously the things where you have to like churn butter, etc. I don't think churning butter is an actual mini game, but like
why not?
it's basically that gesticulation.
1-2 Switch had milking a cow. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, honestly, that's a lot of what the motion control mini games are in Super Mario Party. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of that. I want there to be more. I want to my SDGC buddies, but Nintendo is kind of dropping the ball on that.
If I ever told,
John,
I was just gonna say, I've ever told y'all the story about me getting caught milking the cow in 1-2 Switch at work.
I think
No?
you may have told me.
I've heard stories about milking in 1-2 Switch, but that's not it.
So,
Heard
this is-
stories about Maddie
right
Demand.
after
Was
this-
it Maddie Demand?
yeah.
Maddie
Look
wants
me
you
in
to
the
look him in the
eyes,
fucking
fucking
eye when you're milking.
So this will be real quick, and then we can move on. I'm sorry, but this is right after the Switch came out, and I had 1-2 Switch, and I brought it into work, and me and a guy at work, and for context, I work at a news station. Are in our downtime, we're playing 1-2 Switch, and we're actually playing the cow milking game. So we're sitting there doing the competitive cow milking against each other, and the director for the 10 p.m. news comes in. This guy named Angelo. He is a very tall, very lanky, very black, older man. And he comes in and sees these two fucking white 20-somethings just at each other as the screen on the Switch is like doing the cow milking thing. And we turn to him and he's giving us this look like, hey guys, and I'm just like, this is what white people do for fun, Angelo. Is the only defense that comes to mind. And he goes, okay. And he just turns around and walks out. That's it. That's all I got. Let's move on to John and his fucking Vita. His magical Vita.
Yeah, what have you been playing on Vita, John?
Dude, so
Sorry,
much.
I'm having a
You're having a hard night, I know. Tell us about Bahamut Lagoon. This is the first time you played it, right?
This is the first time I've ever played Bahamut Lagoon.
Dude, I love Bahamut Lagoon so much.
Because
My
there's
favorite restaurant.
So like,
Go on.
so if you know anything about me and you know anything about Bahamut Lagoon, that game is basically
Bahamut Lagoon.
exactly my fucking
Bahamut
shit. Like,
Yeah, it is.
just Google, literally
Bahamut
Google Bahamut Lagoon. Look at images of Bahamut
Super
Lagoon.
Nintendo Square RPG. Like,
Bahamut Lagoon, Bahamut Lagoon, Bahamut Lagoon.
What the
fuck? Are you okay? I'm the one who's been drinking. Come on.
So while Reb gets back up, I actually tried to play that game as a kid, and
We lost it.
Oh,
Sorry,
he's back.
I know I was laughing so hard I hit the leave call button.
I didn't fall over.
Bahamut Lagoon, Bahamut Lagoon, Bahamut Lagoon. Like so basically Bahamut Lagoon is
Bahamut Lagoon. Okay, I'm done. Continue.
all right, so I want to tell you a little bit about Bahamut Lagoon.
Yes, just like that.
yeah, I love the
So-
ASMR, John.
Excellent.
Basically, Bahamut Lagoon came at the tail end of the Super Nintendo's life cycle, and the reason it wasn't localized in the States is because they wanted to put all their focus on Final Fantasy VII and PlayStation titles, so it never came here. But now I've unlocked the full potential of my Vita and
The
got
way you're talking makes me like my throat. Keep going. Keep going.
So basically what I did was I got an English translation of Bahamut Lagoon, and it's fucking awesome. I'm about 5 hours in. It's exactly what I wanted. I've been playing a bunch of and by the way, I'm really like stunned this hasn't been localized yet because it's fucking great. This game rules. Especially originally this was Final Fantasy Tactics, for anybody who doesn't know. This was the original Final Fantasy Tactics game that changed obviously later in development, but this was intended to be their tactics game. But I've also been playing
shit.
What's that?
The game rocks shit.
The game's fucking awesome. Yeah, it's great. And I've also been playing a lot of older games that I have not played in a while, like Valkyrie Profile, which is an incredible PS1 RPG. Valkyrie Profile is great. I've also been playing Einhander, which is one of the best side-scrolling shoot 'em ups ever. I've been playing Suikoden 2. Like I am playing comfort food games right now, and having a great time doing it. That's what I'm doing right now.
I'm
I
with
love
you,
it.
John. I said at the beginning of the podcast, I've played like 50 hours of Stardew Valley over break, so I hear you on the comfort food game. Look at that dog! Oh my god! Look at that great dog.
Twiggy
Wow.
is. We don't deserve Twiggy, actually.
Twiggy's
That's a
fun.
big
wanna-
dog.
I want to point out something that Imran said in chat. He said, "Speaking of your shit, John, play Scarlet Graces. That's a Saga game. I've heard a lot of good things about that, actually."
It doesn't.
So I tried to play Bahamut Lagoon when I was in like high school and like grabbing emulators and stuff.
Bahamut Lagoon.
And the version I downloaded had like some fan translation that was like the most like edgelord shit.
Of course
Like-
it did.
Like it was just putting a whole bunch of swears and stuff into it. I could hardly follow the actual like storyline, but there was a lot of swearing.
Hell
And
yeah.
So I stopped because it
Oh.
wasn't good.
Well, so I've got a good English
I assume
translation.
you've got a proper one, John.
I've got a really good English translation. It's you have to feed your dragons and keep them happy, Reb. That might be something that you would be into. Your dragons will get hungry and they'll roar. They'll be like, "Arr," and when they're hungry, and you got to go feed them. And
Wait,
depending,
John, what was that noise?
like,
yeah,
I can't do a hungry sad dragon noise, okay? But what I will tell you is that if you their mood will change depending on what you feed them. And
So
they
like me.
but exactly, Reb, exactly. But also, if you feed them too many sweets, they'll get too attached to you and they won't want to go into battle. So you have to actually manage the types of food that you feed your dragons, or they'll love you too much and they won't want to go off and fight because they just want to stay near you and get more.
I don't want to play this game.
You
I
can
want to feed them all and keep them close to me and never fight.
You
That's
can
how I play
feed
the
them
game.
porno mags as well.
Yeah,
What?
a shopkeeper was
Why?
selling one of the items in one of the stores was porno mag, and the effect is you put your enemies
King
to
Shame
sleep,
2020.
which is weird because you would think that a porno mag would have the opposite effect on somebody.
You don't
I
get
don't know, it
tired after? All right, never mind.
What?
Bad.
Anyway,
Sorry.
what? Aside from what I've been playing, have we gotten into the predictions yet? What have I
Not
missed?
We haven't. All right. Well, before we get to predictions, I want to go over our actual one
news.
bit of. Yeah, we have one news item,
One
and actually
news.
just happened today. And we're gonna keep it quick. So we're gonna talk about Vince Zampella. It was an LA Times piece, profile of Vince Zampella, formerly king shit of Respawn, now partial king shit, maybe prince shit of EA. He's gotten more responsibilities. He's doing some more stuff behind the scenes in terms of broadening out, basically being brought up into a more leadership role at EA. Which is kind of a quick turnaround considering that studio was just picked up by EA. Is it formally in 2017 or 2018? Does anyone know?
I want to say it was 2017.
17.
2017?
17.
Yeah, so, but basically, I mean, it's been a huge couple years for Respawn. They've put out 4 games this generation, all of them scoring really well with fans and critics. So it's not totally surprising to see that studio doing well under that leadership.
And good labor practices.
And good labor practices from what we know.
Yeah.
But basically the thing is profiling the longevity of his career and where he's going next. But I think the big thing there is the way he is being brought into kind of helm new creative endeavors at Dice LA. Dice LA formerly previously had been doing kind of a support role for Dice Stockholm in Battlefield Hardline, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5, and Battlefront 2. And that was in terms of helping them squash bugs and support the game, but also bring in new content. But with Vince coming on board, they're actually going to be making their own games now. They're kind of ditching. They used to be Danger Close, and then they became Dice LA support studio. Now they're going back to making their own games, which is kind of wild. And it's interesting to see Dice kind of lose that support and favor from EA.
They have an original unannounced game they're working on.
Yeah.
I missed that.
And I think
Says the LA Times.
he kind of hints at it. He's like, and
No,
maybe something
he's-
else.
He says.
No, and maybe something else is about
And then
Respawn. That wasn't.
Oh,
Dice
okay.
LA is confirmed to be working on their
Yes.
On a new
Yeah, but-
unannounced original some.
And the thing is, he said they're also changing their name. He's like, yeah,
Yes.
we're probably gonna rebrand.
They're gonna
Um,
drop the dice thing.
Yeah,
But
and
they're
speaking
also
of
not gonna be another. Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, you're totally fine. But speaking of dropping the dice, that's the perfect way to frame it. Because in 2006, Dice actually was acquired by EA for I was looking this up to try to prepare for this for only $24 million, which seems kind of low by modern standards considering what they had done in that time.
Considering the money that EA has made off of the Battlefield series,
Yeah. Well, so in basically a decade, a little bit more, EA had acquired Dice and then said, "Wow, you guys are really good at doing what you're doing, and you have a beautiful engine in Frostbite. What do you think we should do with that?" And so they brought in Patrick Soderlund, who had basically been the main lead at Dice to kind of basically do what Vince is doing now, which is kind of provide some creative oversight, and that kind of led to Frostbite being kind of the de facto engine at Dice. Or I'm sorry, at EA, whole cloth, and that has been kind of reported on as kind of a disaster, right, across the board for most studios outside.
Nobody likes it.
Well, it's an engine built for first-person shooters, so when you make it for a racing game or for Dragon Age, turns out it doesn't really run very well. But basically, I mean, I guess my big thing here is that this is basically the same. Respawn and Vince are basically the same trajectory Patrick Soderlund had when he went and gained favor at EA. So I guess I'm just kind of curious to see, is this EA actually learning their lessons from going all in on an in-house engine? I'm kind of just steamrolling here. I guess I just want to know what you guys think about this. It feels like big news to me as somebody who's played a lot of EA games this gen.
I would argue it's really good news. Justin, you go first, actually. You were polite.
Yeah, so I was going to agree with Derek. I think it's good news because it's no secret that a lot of EA's formerly premier studios have been a mess this generation. It's really shown a lot of poor management all around. BioWare and DICE have been two of my favorite developers ever since I was a kid, and their output has been disappointing. Especially DICE recently has been borderline incompetent with their support for Battlefield 5. And Respawn has proven itself to be a really, really good, well-managed, focused studio. And Vince Zampella is somebody, it seems like as soon as he got brought under, even though Respawn was under the wing of EA, he was not afraid to stand up to some of the mandates they had about like using Frostbite and things like that in order to keep his, studio running and on task. So I'm really hoping this ends up being a good thing for DICE LA. And I hope, some of that starts to trickle down to some of the other studios.
Yeah. Well, and one of the fascinating tidbits in this whole profile is actually not from Vince himself. They're talking to Laura Meal, who kind of oversees all of the studios at EA. And she says outside of the sports stuff, they've really had this issue where they're having a hard time building products that are playable and in a good state. They're basically not prototyping fast enough. But what Respawn has been so good at this generation is like, hey, how do we adapt to what the market wants and make something that is playable and fun in really short order? And she cites Apex Legends being like a huge part of that. And kind of one of the underlying things here is like in engines that Respawn has been using, such as Unreal and Modified Source Engine. These are really, really, really well-used engines that are built for all sorts of games. And so that is presumably, in addition to really great developers at Respawn, made for rapid prototyping that makes these games possible. Whereas like at Frostbite, if you wanted to make a game that wasn't a shooter, you had to build your tools and then build your game. And so like basically, to me, I mean, everything here is like a condemnation of the Frostbite engine and this like, let's make everybody use the same stuff. I mean, to me, it signals next gen DICE and EA, more so EA, is kind of ditching their mandate on engine use, and we're going to see developers use what they like, which is obviously a good thing. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, like EA. So when I think about my favorite time period for EA, maybe the only time I've really like had a positive overall opinion of EA as a publisher. I'm thinking back to the time when they were putting out stuff like Dead Space, Dante's Inferno, Mirror's Edge. It's a time where
Mass Effect.
Yeah, Mass Effect was still ongoing. Like it was a good time. They were trying shit out. And if a game didn't work, they didn't necessarily force sequels, but they were trying. And I think what Mass Effect nowadays, not Mass Effect, EA.
I know.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm going to cry. But EA is just like, it's sports, it's Battlefield and the Battlefront games in the meanwhile, which is just Star Wars Battlefield. And reminders that BioWare is not what they used to be. And to me, like Respawn has been the one shining like beacon of light in EA's. What do you got? Hit me.
No, I think you're absolutely right,
Yeah.
but I think this is cyclical with EA.
It's true.
I think
They do.
I think they went BioWare to DICE to Respawn, but like what's happening here is like it's not there's always been talent.
I need
at
them
BioWare,
not
DICE,
to
at
over focus on
yeah.
Respawn, because that's what they do is they go,
Yeah.
DICE, you are everything we have, and they go, BioWare, you're everything we have, and that studio gets overworked to
Yeah.
oblivion, and they can't handle the workload that's expected of them. I
And
think
like I think that's sorry, just
No,
to,
go
to
ahead.
build on that. I think it's definitely hit DICE, especially with the whole Frostbite thing, is because they're not only on tight schedules for making their own games, they're also having to do support with studios all around the world at EA that are really struggling with Frostbite on top of it. And I think that's part of the reason that studio is in the state that it's in.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like
I
to
guess-
me, I think
go
the
ahead.
idea of I like the idea of Zampella being in charge of this other studio that's not just Respawn, because what that tells me is maybe instead of just making Respawn handle way too much that they can't actually fit on their plate, let's get other studios to maybe reform to have a similar work culture and ethic and approach to Respawn. And I think that's a smarter move ultimately, because it's not overtaxing one studio, it's instead spreading that studio's kind of culture and ethic and their approach to making good games to other studios that have traditionally only been support studios, but I fully believe could put out incredible original experiences if they were given the opportunity and the leadership to do so. Nobody wants to just be a support studio, you know?
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's so much to be excited about in this review. I'm just, as somebody who like has basically since 2006 loved everything DICE has put out and has seen their decline, it makes me nervous because I've loved everything Respawn has put out too. So I'm a little bit nervous, but I mean, more than anything, I would say, and I'm happy to hear other opinions on this, but I would say this has actually been an extreme, despite revenue being whatever revenue is, EA has had a really, really rough generation. Like they put out sports games that were pretty much iterative and did fine. I mean, it was besides basketball, which never really took off, and they canceled this year last minute. They've had kind of a rough year, or not rough year, rough generation. They haven't done any remasters. They go back and forth on if they want to do them or not. I think we're actually going to see them do that now. I hope that they can have a stronger, more ambitious next generation, because this hasn't been it for me. I don't know. Does anybody have anything?
I'm with you. I mean, the lack of a Mass Effect remaster trilogy, when the only acceptable way to play the Mass Effect games right now is backwards compatibility on Xbox One, that's not good. The PC ports are junky as shit at the best of times. And there's just no way to play on PS4. And that's not okay. And that's one of the biggest and most beloved trilogies in modern gaming, and they haven't done the easy work to, I don't know, like it's frustrating. It's Nintendo level frustrating. Like
it's also just really strange because it seems like the sort of thing that could buy them some quick goodwill that they are sorely missing right now. And they're just not doing it.
It is something that Derek said earlier made me think, you were listing kind of this, I guess, sort of golden age of EA, for lack of a better word, like this period when they had Mass Effect going and they had all these other titles. And I was thinking, like, yeah, I haven't heard most of those game names I forgot that they had anything to do with Mirror's Edge, like just conveniently, because
and like Dante's Inferno wasn't good, but
it reminded me, and sorry for plugging our site's shit again, but my editor, Brendan Sinclair, does this column every month called 10 Years Ago this month, where he looks at the industry 10 years ago, whatever month it is. And last month's thing for December, he looked at I guess there was some stuff about like fewer, bigger, better. Like the idea of doing fewer games, but doing bigger and higher quality ones. And it's a whole long thing. It's worth reading. It's interesting. But it's interesting to look at EA's 2010 slate of games. They had 48 games. And in 2018, they had 12. And granted, probably a lot of those were like bargain bin things. Like there's a screenshot here of
how many of them are sports games, right?
There's a screenshot here of something like Create Your Imagination for PS3, My Sims Sky Heroes, and Family Game Night 3. Like, I mean, those don't need to come back. But yeah, it's sort of interesting how much a lot, not just EA, but a lot of people seem to kind of be sitting on. But I think EA maybe is one of the worst. Yeah, they had the most games in 2010 compared to any of the other publishers he looked at, and not quite the least. But
Activision is kind of going in the same direction too, with having very few franchises that they support regularly. Like Call of Duty has been continually successful for Activision, but it's kind of that their big thing.
Well, that's part of their big like revamp over the last, like especially with Blizzard, but like kind of company wide, right? Like they were using 2019 as sort of a quiet year to sort of recalibrate. So I mean, I guess theoretically we should expect more bigger, different things from Activision this year, but I don't know. Call of Duty seems to be doing fine for them, so.
While we're kind of on like,
unless it's the one Derek's playing.
While we're kind of on these like predictions things for what's EA's doing, can we just kind of talk about 2020 and also the decade ahead? Does anybody? I guess I want to throw to John first since he's been here. John, do you have any predictions about what we're going to see this year and maybe into next generation?
Are we talking a specific platform or just in general? Like, are we
John,
talking generalities?
I want to follow your
Give me
wildest
those hottest
dreams.
takes.
You take me. I don't want your hot takes. I want your dreams, John.
You want you want my wildest dreams?
Well, not your wildest, but show me some of your dreams.
Yeah.
Okay, so Square Enix has said in the past that they are looking at the possibility of some kind of a subscription service to make their massive backlog of games available. I think that if they don't do that this year, then they are going to start making some of their older library of games more available to people. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means ports. I don't know if that means updates. I don't know if that means a subscription service, as they have said that they're interested in, but they know that the demand is there. And there is a huge demand for old Square Enix games, a massive demand. I think they are going to try to do what they can to meet that demand in the most reasonable way they can. I just don't know what form that takes. I also think that, hyperbole aside, yes, I've said it before, but I do think this is the year of Metroid Prime Trilogy on Switch. I don't know when it's going to be announced. I have no idea when it would be released, but I do know that it exists and it's been finished for quite some time and it's literally waiting on a shelf somewhere ready to drop on Switch. I think it's going to be this year. I think this year is going to be, I do not think Breath of the Wild 2 is this year. I think you're going to get a 3D Mario instead. Whether that's Odyssey 2 or something else, I don't know. I also think you're going to
think that is just awfully bold of you.
I mean, I feel like it's time. I mean, Odyssey came out in 1990. Jesus Christ, my mind's all over the place tonight. It came out in 2017. At that point, if it released,
so did Breath of the Wild.
It did.
And we have an announced sequel for that already.
It did.
We've done this one.
But in 2017, what was October that Odyssey came out? That'll be, if it releases this fall, that's 3 years. That seems reasonable to me. It's entirely possible, Reb, that we could get Breath of the Wild 2 and Mario in the same year.
I think Breath of the Wild 2 is more likely than Mario Odyssey 2. I think DLC.
I think it's too late for DLC.
Of like 3D World or something.
That's another possibility.
What I think is more reasonable. I think a 3D 2D Mario, if that makes sense.
Right. So I would agree. Like, I also think, Justin, I think that's a good call. I think a port of 3D World is something that is very possible as well.
There's already one of those.
Listen, if Nintendo gave a fuck about Mario, they would.
There's one of those, right?
Fucking
no.
Mario Maker, right?
No, there's Mario Maker. The last Wii U port, Reb, was New Super Mario Brothers Wii U Deluxe.
That's the one I'm thinking. Yeah. I knew there was one of the ones where he could be a cat that was on.
Yeah,
I don't care about these games.
Yeah, there's that. I think Pikmin 3 HD. I think there's gonna be a port of Pikmin 3 this year on Switch.
I'd play it.
John. Yeah. John, I mean, obviously we're getting next gen consoles from Sony and Microsoft this year. Switch Pro? No.
Nope. I don't think they need it. I honestly don't think they need it.
Hold off until Switch 2.
Yep, exactly. Yep. But here's the other thing. Nintendo now, they are locked into the hybrid console format. There is no way they can go back now. So
I'd say that if it wasn't Nintendo.
Yeah, right. Like, we always have to apply, the Nintendo principle of this is a smart thing to do, so that's why Nintendo won't do it. But I've had people ask if themes are going to come to Switch this year. I do not think they will. I think that ship has sailed. As far as I'll just do PlayStation and Xbox real quick. I think that PlayStation 5 will have backwards compatibility with PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, 2, and 1. 4 for sure. 3, 2, and 1 might be a hot take, but it would be a huge way to engender some goodwill. I think Xbox Series, whatever they call it, the Lockhart, there's the Scarlet. Obviously, they're going with a line of consoles. They're all gonna you're gonna be able to play all the same games on all of the different Xbox consoles, but this is the year that they transition Xbox away from being a box that sits in front of your television into more of a more universal platform of sorts, if that makes any sense.
Already doing it.
Yeah, exactly right. You can already play your.
That's
Xbox
not a
game
prediction.
anywhere.
That's what they're doing right now. That's an
No,
awesome.
I want a bold Xbox prediction now.
A bold Xbox prediction.
That's a
Okay,
boring Xbox
all right.
prediction.
Halo is coming to Switch.
Which one?
The Master Chief Collection.
All of them?
All of it?
No,
Yep.
just Halo 3.
Finish the fight.
No. Halo,
Okay.
Halo the Halo Master Chief Collection will hit Switch this year. You've already seen former Xbox exclusives hop up on Switch, like Ori and the Blind Forest. I think it's I also, and here's the big one for you, Zach. You want a hot Xbox prediction? Here you go.
Mhm.
Game Pass will be available on Switch this year.
By the way, I like how both of John's hot Xbox takes were about the Switch.
I'm just saying.
Listen, the man knows what he likes.
Game Pass on Switch this year. As far as PlayStation 5 goes, I other than it being backwards compatibility with all the systems, I don't have any real predictions about that one. I don't know enough about it.
You know, just one quick thing, and then I'll throw to somebody else. I'll make other predictions later. It's too bad the game is so online focused, because I think Sea of Thieves, because that game can run on a adorable on the Switch. I really do. But it's just not portable friendly enough. It's so online dependent. But it would be a cool game on Switch. That's all I got. Reb, can you tell me what you think is coming this year?
I'm really bad at predictions. I don't really do them or think too hard
Okay,
about them.
sorry.
I do disagree with John's take that we're never getting a Switch Pro. I don't think I would be bold enough to just confidently go, yeah, it's fucking this year. But I do think whether it's an actual extremely upgraded separate like a thing they sell separately from like a normal Switch and a Lite, or just in a year or two they start selling a better Switch. I mean, they already kind of did that a little bit, but I do believe the rumors that there is a Switch Pro in some form. So I don't know if we'll get it this year, but I imagine we will get it. I think this year would actually be a bad choice for it, because it would make it out to make it look like they're trying too hard to compete with like Xbox and Sony.
Yeah.
And I think that would this is not the year to do it. I think future years I can see that, like later in the life cycle. I think that would make a little more sense. I do think we'll get more. This is a boring prediction. I think we'll get a lot more Switch-like colors.
Yeah.
And they'll be a lot cuter.
Yeah. They're gonna do like an Animal Crossing one.
Oh,
and they're
100%.
gonna
The
do-
cutest
yeah.
fucking shit. I'm gonna want
And
it so bad, and I'm not
Reb, if
buy
they
it.
drop an Animal Crossing Switch Lite, like how hard are you going to have to restrain yourself to run out? And
I mean, it's not hard when you're a broke ass fucking journalist, but it makes me sad. Like, let's see. I don't have any super bold predictions. I think the one that I've been touting for a while that I think is, I don't know if it's like a known rumor or just really fucking obvious to everyone, but I've been thinking about it for a while. I'm like mostly confident that we're going to see Xbox tie its cloud gaming service to Game Pass. Like, I think that's just the most obvious fucking thing in the world to do.
Yeah.
I would, with a subscription model. And every time I bring this up, somebody is like, well, there's a difference between cloud gaming and subscriptions, and what do you actually talk? No, I'm talking about all the fucking shit. I think that Xbox is going to tie a Google Stadia-like service where you don't have to download games. You can just hit the button on the Xbox or whatever you're playing it on, and you start playing the game, to a Game Pass-like subscription service, where if you have this Game Pass thing, it'll be more expensive than Game Pass, where if you have this subscription service, you have access to that library, or even a limited form of that library, but still a really big fucking library, where you don't have to buy full-priced games like you do with Stadia, and you just, as long as you're subscribed, you can play those games. I think that is the most obvious thing to do. I think that they might not do the full Game Pass library, because that would be kind of a lot, but I think a limited selection of those games being available, and then others being available for like discounts or limited times or things like that. I think Xbox has come out with a better fucking model for a cloud-based gaming service with a subscription model than Stadia has. I think my other one is that I don't know when the fuck they're going to do it, and I don't think they're ever going to do their PR, but I do think that Stadia will actually end up being sort of okay by the end of this year. I think once they get Stadia base out there and people start using it actively and have the free version, I don't think it'll be good. I think it'll be okay. I think the free version will be fine. But I guess it's not really free because you still have to buy games. I think PR has just dropped the ball like on so many fucking occasions with that service, though, that it's just like a mess. But I don't think that what we've seen so far was their end game. I think it's a very poorly marketed beta. And I think by the end of 2020 or even like early 2021, we'll start to see what it's actually supposed to be. So that's my extremely boring 2020 predictions. And we're going to get an Animal Crossing this year.
Dude,
And it's going to be good. It's going to be more Animal Crossing. It's going to be better Animal Crossing. And that's my...
Very soon.
Derek.
Derek,
No.
go ahead, man.
No,
Sorry.
John, it's Derek's turn.
Sorry.
You're fine.
All right, so I got a couple things. So I know that Reb, I don't want to contradict her at all, and I want.
Oh, you can. I'm fucking stupid.
I want
to
be explicit that she's the actual games industry journalist, and I am a very dumb gay nerd. But Stadia is dead this year. I think if Stadia doesn't die this year, let me put it this way: Stadia is not going to stop working this year, but I think we're going to see the dying gasps of Stadia this year because Google doesn't know what to do with it. Google's not going to dedicate the resources to fixing it. Google is a hyper incompetent mega corporation that only knows how to chase its bottom dollar. And Stadia is not going to turn a quick enough profit and turnaround for them, I don't think. For them to care to put resources into it. Maybe I'm just saying that because I'm salty because I live in the one fucking city that they pulled out of for Google Fiber and they left our roads a disaster. Google, you owe us money. Fix our goddamn roads.
I do think because they had when Jade Raymond was doing all that stuff with announcing studio whatever stuff that they're doing, like they were talking about it being like a 3-year bet to make, like they were just starting these games that they're allegedly making exclusively for Stadia. I do think they stay in it at least that long to like at least try to get that investment to pay off. I do not. I think that I very much I believe them when they say that Stadia is a long game for them.
I don't think it's turning off.
I don't necessarily think it's going to pay off at the end of the long game, but I don't think it dies in a year.
I think by the end of the year, we see that Google Stadia is not going to continue past the initial trial run of 3 years or whatever. Like, I think we see its death. I don't think it dies. I think we foresee its death.
Okay.
Fair.
Yeah.
See, I think we're so much more likely. Derek, I'm not going to take it from you. I just want to.
It's good.
I think that we're far more likely to see them partner with somebody on the PC platform, or I think this is not very likely, but I think we're seeing Sony up its investment in PlayStation Now.
Phantom's coming back.
The thing that interests me the most is, and I don't really. I'm with you in not trusting Google. I just think it's going to take longer for it to play out. I love the vision of Stadia being a thing where AAA games like the idea of Assassin's Creed Odyssey being playable and enjoyable on a mobile phone and playable like literally anywhere you can get internet. Like that idea, that concept is great. However, that's what they started with. That's what they like brought at GDC, and they're like, look at this shit. And then literally none of that has been like part of what they've offered so far. So far what they've offered is a high cost, like premium level like service for people who have a lot of money and who are willing to just dump that money into expensive shit. And I don't know if they have a long game that's going to, because the thing is there are publishers and there are a few indie devs who seem to believe in this vision, which it just makes me curious as to what they have been sold.
I guess what I'll say too is like the hubris of Google here is like what's really frustrating, which is like, Reb, you're absolutely right, but like Google is not the first, far from the first people to have this fucking, right? Like what I mean, OnLive was like maybe our first indication of that, which is way ahead of its time. But I think what's so frustrating about Google is like Google has a super powerful algorithm. Everything about their infrastructure is set up for them to do really well with this cloud stuff, but they don't actually have the games to support it, right? Like we just saw them make their first acquisition with the developers who are making Journey to the Savage Planet.
That was real interesting.
Yeah.
Which is weird because the game's still coming to every platform later this year. But like you're making your acquisitions the year that you are rolling out your platform to people. What are you doing? Like, it's really frustrating because what they're doing is like their services first before they actually have the games for the platform. But that's counterintuitive to what they actually pitched to consumers, which was, hey, here's 10 teraflops of compute power behind all of our games, but also Destiny 2. If you play it today on Switch, runs at the low settings. It doesn't actually. I guess I'm just frustrated because on the one end, they tout to consumers ultra power, but then they also don't have the games to back it up.
The commercial is hilarious because the commercial is like, look at all these games you can play on Stadia, and I'm like, a list of 20.
Yeah.
Great.
And 3 of them are fucking Tomb Raider.
I know. So I don't want to hyper focus on
Sorry,
Google.
This is fine.
No,
Sorry,
it's fine.
Sorry, dude.
It's all good. It's all good. I don't want to hyper focus on Google. Although I think much like with OnLive, the problem still comes down to a lack of it being practical for the majority of people, and until something is practical, it's just not gonna break through. I have some other stuff that I have for predictions. I think it's going to broadly be a very slow year outside of Nintendo. Like if you're expecting a lot from Sony and Microsoft.
What about those launch titles, Derek?
Well, that's the thing. I think, look, I'm smart enough. I've been
we
doing
already
enough
have a ton of games that we know are coming out in
all
like the next
first
few
half.
months.
It's all first half though. And I think second half is going to
That's
be very
normal.
I think second
That's
half
normal.
right, but I think the second half is going to be much slower than people are expecting because I don't think this like holiday rush is going to be like we've been through enough of these console launch cycles. We know. We saw this with PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. We saw this with PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. A lot of games that get announced this year won't be seen that are intended for launch because we assume that they're going to be in the launch window maybe, won't be seen for years. So don't expect this launch to come with a massive library of new games.
What do you think will be the platform sellers for each?
I mean, that's hard to say because Sony and Microsoft Microsoft Halo Infinite's this year, right? Or is that no?
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
confirmed as a launch
That's
title.
that's going to be a big one. I'm sure
They
Sony
said.
has some shit, and I'm sure that Sony's going to try to sell backwards compatibility as a big part because they got big stuff this year like Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us Part 2 that if they have big backwards compatibility patches, they'll be able to say, "Hey, play this game even better, even prettier on our new PlayStation," and people will buy that because people do that. Yeah, Death Stranding, sure, why not? Call of Duty, for whatever reason, is going to be a big deal, and so will Battlefield. Multi-platform titles are going to sell new systems, because that's how it always works, but they're going to be games you could technically play just fine on the current systems. Like, if you look at the last several console launches, the actual list of unique, exclusive, only on this new system games is pretty small. So don't expect to get hit with a bunch of shit. I think we're more likely to see a system seller from somebody like Capcom than we are from, not Microsoft, because Halo Infinite's going to be a huge fucking deal. But, I think Capcom's more likely to make a big multi-plat next-gen system seller, for example, than, Sony will. And only because...
But do you think that's coming out, day one or early next year in their January slot?
Anybody who claims to understand what's going on in day one versus the first 6 months is lying to you. I will also say, in terms of a very specific game, I have a strong belief that Square Enix's Avengers game is going to be a devastating flop. Not because it's a bad game. I think it's actually going to be a better game than most of us are prepared to even admit. But
This is the spice I'm here for.
yes,
Keep it
and
coming.
I think we're going to be seeing think pieces left and right about why the Avengers game has not done well. And I think the answer is going to be very simple. It's going to end up being their marketing and their pre-release strategy. I mean, we've already noticed that it was really dumb for them to wait this far in to reveal the one really exciting piece of information about the game so far, which is Kamala Khan being playable, and not only being playable, being the main character of the game. Like, wow, that's why this is different. That's what shakes things up. We've seen very little actual gameplay and very little to actually represent what the standard sitting down to play the game for a couple hours is going to look like. People have played it behind closed doors, and it's good, but they're not showing it. And it's
Is that different than like Destiny was at launch though? I mean, we didn't really, and that game did fine, right?
I mean,
they're different games. They're different
Yeah.
games, but I mean, they're
I
kind of going
think
for the same thing.
Destiny had the advantage. Let me put it this way. I think Destiny had the advantage of being from Bungie.
Yeah.
And that's a
Destiny also
big
had a
fucking deal.
huge alpha and beta.
Yeah.
I played like 80 hours of Destiny before the initial release.
Yeah.
But like, wasn't it like in the couple months before? That's what I'm saying.
Sure. But we're already in the couple months before, and there's no word of anything like that. And the other thing is, again,
When's it
Bungie.
launching?
It's
May.
coming out in
Oh,
May. Yeah.
shit. Okay.
It's coming
I thought we
soon.
didn't release it yet.
Yeah.
Okay,
The other
sorry.
thing is, again, like I said, Bungie, people have a broadly very, very high view of Bungie that's kind of well deserved. Crystal Dynamics, it's a mixed bag, Tomb Raider. Like, and I think they're going to make a really good game.
2013's fine.
I think they're going to make a really good game. I think, again, Avengers is going to be a very highly reviewed game that everyone who plays it really likes. It's going to be Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite all over again. It's going to be a really good game.
Wow.
And everyone who, maybe not that bad, but like everyone who plays it really likes it, but it's going to flop pretty bad.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. That's a hot fucking take,
It's not a hot take.
That's
'cause
real
it's gonna happen.
hot, dude.
It's going to happen.
dude. I mean, dude, we're coming off of Endgame. There's,
Doesn't
we're
fucking
heading
matter.
into Phase 4.
Imran points
How?
out it didn't help Ultimate Alliance 3. The Marvel brand is not going to sell shit on its own. A license does not sell shit on its own. Not anymore. Not in today's gaming industry. And word of mouth is good, but marketing's king. And shitty marketing or no marketing whatsoever and
Exactly,
no information.
but Imran makes another good point right after that. He said Nintendo forgot that existed, and they did. That's so.
And guess what? Fucking Square Enix keeps forgetting that Avengers exists.
I think that we're gonna see. So I'll say this: if we don't see some kind of a big ass marketing blitz in the next 2 months, I might agree with you.
We'll see. I don't know.
I would gently give allowance for a lot of these things for we have just had December. It is the beginning of January.
Sure.
Nobody is marketing anything right now. Nintendo's going to come around with a direct probably mid-late January like they usually do.
Avengers has had a problematic in terms of their lack of information release. Like up through, and it's not even like that stuff is NDA'd, right? People got to play the game and write pieces on it, but that's not powerful enough in today's age compared to putting out your own direct gameplay trailer or like developer walkthrough. That's a big deal. Look, Avengers aside, because I don't want to stick on that forever. I got more hot shit ready for y'all. Get ready, and I hate this. I don't want this, but it's gonna be true.
3.
No. Get ready for just to be so fucking tired of discourse about The Last of Us Part 2 and Elden Ring. Get ready for both of those. They're going to drive you goddamn crazy.
Why Elden Ring?
FromSoft.
Elden Ring is
FromSoft. Are you ready for the difficulty conversation?
Because Elden Ring
We're
is
doing
going
that again.
Are you
No,
ready
we're
for people to
difficult.
ask for basic
There's-
fucking accessibility and
There will-
that to
yep.
turn into a big, I'm a hardcore gamer and I beat games and that's what gives me validation in life.
Some games just aren't for everybody.
Hey,
Yeah.
like
George R.R. Martin is involved. His name is on the box.
Why is that a good thing?
I'm not saying that as a positive. I'm just
What if-
saying. 'cause
what
it's
if
a
Elden-
true-
Zach, what if Elden Ring turns out to be the actual end of the Game of Thrones books? What if he's going to end it in the game? Have we considered
You know
that
what?
possibility?
I'm ready.
Yeah. So
You know,
yeah,
Derek,
like-
Derek, I
prepared.
need you to wrap up so we can throw to
No,
Justin.
that's what I got. Get prepared for unfortunate amounts of discourse. I'm gonna run to the bathroom.
Love
Justin,
it.
do you
Love
think?
the Discord.
I hate
Justin,
Discord.
talk to me about this next year, buddy.
Okay, so I only really have like one big prediction, but I am going to say that PlayStation Now gets rebranded and relaunched as more of a Game Pass like service. Like it's already moving in that direction, but I think it just hasn't recovered from its, several year history as being a streaming service. Like I actually looked up at the lineup of games, and there's 300 games that you can download and play on PS4 on like locally, but it still is seen as primarily a streaming service. So I think they're going to kind of rebrand it as a Game Pass like service that also does streaming instead of a streaming service that also has some games you can download.
That makes sense.
I don't think they're going to go as hard in on it as Microsoft. I think they're going to continue what they're doing right now, which is where they kind of rotate in and out some of their big heavy hitter titles. Like they did God of War and Uncharted 4 in the fall, and right now they just swapped in Horizon Zero Dawn and Uncharted Lost Legacy. I think they'll continue that. I think maybe some of their smaller titles might get like, every now and then as just a way of kind of boosting subscribers, be like, hey, guess what? Like something like Concrete Genie size, you might be able to get like day one on their service. But I think they're just going to, have it to say that to be able to say they had it, than like going all in like Microsoft is. But I definitely think we see that change, and I think we see it relatively soon. I think we're gonna get a PlayStation meeting relatively early in the like we did in 2013.
Wasn't it in February in 2013, Justin?
It was in
Something like that?
February.
Yeah.
I think we probably see very similar timing with a PlayStation 5 review. Some more strategic things like rebrand for PlayStation Now. Yes, Reb.
Question for you, Justin. Do you think that Sony returns to E3 this year?
I was going to ask the exact same question.
I don't know. That's kind of like my big question right now. So another part of my prediction about there being a PlayStation meeting is I think they're gonna go big for whatever that event is. They haven't had a big event since E3 2018, and even that was pretty laid back by their standards. This is going like we see one probably February or late January, early March, kind of in that range, with the PlayStation 5 reveal. But I think they're going to go pretty big with it because it's been so long since they've had an event. And like this will be the first presentation with a lot of new execs in charge. It'll be the first one with Jim Ryan in charge. It'll be first one with Herman Hulst in charge of Worldwide Studios. First one with Shuhei Yoshida now in charge of Indie. I think all three of those execs are going to want to make statements about what they're doing on top of showing off the PlayStation 5 strategy. So I think, I think they're going to have an event early on in the year. They're going to go big with it. As for E3, I don't know. I could see them almost like bringing back PlayStation Experience, but as like a summer event or like an early fall event, like in the lead up to the PlayStation 5 launch. If they don't go to E3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I do think that
I could see it go either way.
I think I could too, and I do think that Sony's decision. I don't think it'll be like, okay. I don't think that Sony deciding to or not to go to E3 will be like the nail in the coffin that kills E3. But if they do decide not to go, I think it will be, I don't know, maybe like a good punch to the coffin. Like,
if
E3's not doing
how would
well,
you punch a
and
coffin?
I don't know. E3's not doing well, and we've heard it's been going downhill for a while now. Sony not going last year was not good for the show. that said, it was easy enough to look at it and say, okay, they're just taking a year off because they don't have anything. They didn't do PSX or whatever also. But if they just commit to not going back, that's kind of big.
And also, skipping E3 the year of a console launch, I think, is a much bigger statement than skipping like towards the end of the generation when you already have a lot of titles announced.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think that holds true whether they totally skip it or whether they skip the actual show and not do a press conference, not show floor, but still do some kind of online presentation. I think that's a statement as well, because it's saying we can just, do the hype machine ourselves and we don't need the ESA's little thing. And I think it will be very interesting to see what E3 is this year. I think it will be an interesting year to see what console releases do to several dying institutions, including E3, GameStop. Yep.
Yeah. If GameStop makes it that long.
I think my prediction for GameStop is that it does. I mean, it makes it. They're actually. I've entertained the idea. They've done some of their new concept stores down in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's not horrendously far from me. I've debated going down there to see what the fuck those are. But I do think GameStop makes it, and I think that with the console generation shift, I think they do see a resurge. I do not think it is enough to save them through to the next console cycle.
No.
No.
So I'll just close out. I know we're running long, so I'll
Sorry.
No, it's not you, Rev. It's not you at all. It's nobody.
Me.
We also have Fins to go over if we haven't already.
Yeah, so I will.
It's Kirby.
I will just be extremely brief. I'm actually just super, super fascinated with. I know some people are already tired of next gen, predictions, etc. I am super fascinated in that window. I think that I think Sony has a really good place right now where they have by and large been the market dominant this generation. I think a lot of people have invested in this ecosystem, in this digital ecosystem for over the last 7 years, that a lot of people aren't going to ditch that to go to Microsoft, even if Microsoft has a better deal going on. I think that's going to be hard for Microsoft. But I also think that might put Sony in a hard spot to sell you a PS5 at launch. Obviously, they're going to have a great platform, and it's going to be a great box. But I think that if we look at launch windows and what they've got going on, and then rumors around their hardware specs, I think they'll come in with a cheaper box, somewhere between presumably Lockhart and Series X. But I think that unless they're coming in with like the good, like, hey, we're giving you a lot of for decent pricing, they're gonna have a hard time. I think even if Microsoft comes in $100 more expensive, them being able to say, hey, we're Microsoft, and if you give us $1 a month, you can play all of our launch titles in Game Pass day one. It's already cheaper than buying a PS5 with 2 launch games. I think Sony's gonna have a hard time doing much more than saying like, you've been with us this long, why get off the ship now? I don't know. I think that Microsoft is going to have a hard time getting people out of that ecosystem. I think Sony's going to have a hard time keeping a compelling offer to kind of stay on board. And maybe those are contradictory points. They probably are. But I don't know. I guess I'm just really excited. I think that Horizon Zero Dawn 2 will probably be much like Infamous Second Son in terms of hitting early next year. But yeah. I don't know.
I'll just say that I am Zach. I'm more excited about the Analog Pocket than I am PS5 or Xbox. So
I feel like that's a you thing though.
Yeah, hey, it's just me.
Yeah,
it's a huge you.
Yeah.
Did we hit
I don't know.
Fins?
Oh yeah, let's hit Finn. Sorry.
Oh
Let's hit
yeah,
Fins real quick.
I was supposed to do that. Whoops.
Damn it, Reb! Come on.
No, I'm sorry. I always forget Finn's stuff, and I feel really bad. I forgot something last podcast of his, and I don't remember. Sorry. Anyway, Finn's predictions were Mass Effect Trilogy Remastered. I don't hate that idea. That seems likely.
Sounds good.
I hope it happens.
About fucking time, honestly. Mother 3 finally coming stateside. No, Finn.
Nope.
Halo Infinite is a cross-generation title, to which Justin replied, Halo Infinite is already confirmed cross-generation. More Sony games coming to PC, joining MLB, Death Stranding, etc.
I think Dreams for sure makes it to PC.
I hope so.
A couple more. I can see Sony being more willing to let certain titles hit PC as well as, like, I don't think that like Spider-Man 2 and like Horizon 2 are going to be on PC, but I think stuff like Dreams.
Bloodborne?
Legacy titles, there's a maybe possibility.
There's
there.
no way, but it'd be cool.
Demon Souls.
Yeah.
Because
John.
what's their faces are doing it? Blue Point. I almost said Blue Hole. That's not right. That's
Sorry.
the other people.
That's PUBG. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's the other. Anyway, John, sorry.
I've just got before we get off. I've just got one question for Zach. And this may have been mentioned earlier. Sorry, my mind is. I've got a lot on my mind tonight. Do we think Halo Infinite is going to be an Xbox launch title?
Yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
yes.
They've
No,
already-
it's locked in. It's
Is
locked in.
it confirmed? Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
they said.
not aware.
But I think it will be a compromised launch. It's a new engine platform with new tech. I think the campaign is probably going to be. I think the multiplayer will be fine. I think it'll be like Halo 5. I think it'll be fine multiplayer in a. Campaign.
I've heard things about Halo 4 and 5, y'all. Like,
You don't sound incredibly excited about Halo Infinite, Zach.
No, I like Halo. And so it's like me and Gears of War, which is like say like I'm gonna like it. I don't know if you're gonna like it.
I'm confused about any
I like the
aspects of
multiplayer.
Halo Infinite.
Pardon?
Sorry.
No. What did you say?
Nope, I'm arguing with the chat. Sorry.
Oh.
I should not do that.
No.
I'm not confused about anything.
I'm confused.
Okay.
I'm confused about a lot of things.
Wait,
Okay.
what's happening right now?
I don't
don't
know
know.
what's happening. Okay, now I see
I
what's
don't know.
happening. Okay, all right.
we're going off.
I wasn't looking at the chat. I was just listening.
Sorry.
To the
No, that was a
No.
dumb interruption. I'm sorry.
No, it was not.
But no, hey, I think Halo Infinite will be fine. I think it'll have okay multiplayer. I think it'll get better with patches. I think if you're thinking, hey, maybe they're gonna make a good campaign again, no. But dream, keep that dream alive. It'll be pretty. Otherwise, just keep playing the Master Chief Collection on your PC, I guess. That's all I have about Halo.
Or the Nintendo
would with
Switch
this
when
one
it hits
game.
this year.
No.
Yeah, I love. You know what I
no.
love, John? I love playing Halo in 30 FPS. And
I'm just
All
saying.
right,
Enjoy
let's-
only
let's-
having
let's
Halo
go to
Reach.
bed.
Microsoft
go to
would
bed.
never.
Folks.
They will. Are we
words.
signing? Are we logging off? Is that the?
I'm
are we-
tired.
It has
Reb,
been a
Reb,
healthy
you brought us in.
first
Oh, yeah.
show of the year, folks.
Anyway, yeah, welcome back, everybody. Thank you again for coming out and supporting us for another year. We're gonna do more. We agreed. Our SDGC's Game of the Year podcast will be on January 16th. It's a regular Thursday night show. It'll probably be a little longer than usual. And I think everybody's gonna be there.
It sounds like every
regular
standard member
on
of the
the show.
show.
It's
Yeah.
like Smash Brothers. Everyone
Everyone
is
is
So
here.
not
here.
like Maddie, JT, and Gabe, who are usually not on the show itself.
No, Maddie said he was in, didn't he?
Maddie's
Maddie
in.
I think
in?
Maddie's in.
Holy
Maddie's in.
Maddie and Jeff
fuckles.
are both in.
No,
We're
we're-
all
We even got the guest stars coming in.
No, it's fucking lit, dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's everybody. Everybody is here.
Everyone is here.
Everyone is here.
So anyway, January 16th, SDGC will have its Game of the Year podcast. We'll have a normal show like, we usually do next week. There'll probably be a little more news. But yeah, until then, it's not always, we don't always agree, but we always keep it real. Have a good night, everybody.
Bahamut Lagoon. Bahamut Lagoon.
Bahamut